The time now, 6:10. Now, the government says it wants fewer people in prison, particularly those serving short sentences. There are a range of alternatives, including community payback orders, where offenders carry out unpaid work. But today it's been revealed courts aren't getting the message. For the second successive year, the number of these orders is down. Our Home Affairs correspondent, Riva Alderson, reports.
You take it, spread it around. Any rakes, no?
For some time, courts have been encouraged to impose community payback orders on offenders as an alternative to jail sentences. They carry out unpaid work like landscaping here in New Cumnock, an area against which they offended. The government wants courts not to jail offenders for less than a year, arguing alternatives to custody like this are more effective. But the number of community payback orders fell last year by 8%, the second successive annual drop. And in the past year, almost 80% of those jailed received sentences of less than a year, leaving the prison population at more than 8,000, close to record levels.
Janice, thanks. I wonder if you could just give me a view on what's happening with the SQA qualifications for young people at the moment.
So it's gone well, so we have good work. The guys come in and we...
Venture Trust is one of a number of charities working with offenders who say they support the government's desire for alternatives to jail. The Chief Executive, Amelia Morgan, says resources for them and social work departments are insufficient.
We are talking about a significant system change for Scotland. If we want to be more progressive, Scotland currently has the highest incarceration rate in Europe. If we want to be able to move away from that for a more progressive society that really focuses on prevention and rehabilitation, that definitely takes time and it does require system change.
Council spending cuts have hit social work, but Alistair Brown, National Director of the Scottish Association of Social Work, says the funding gap preventing the effective delivery of community orders is more widely evident.
Despite a stagnation in social work numbers since 2012, our members are telling us that they're working incredibly hard, including doing some unpaid overtime, to make sure that any reports that are requested are done. But we know that there's some disparity across Scotland in terms of what was a very large third sector capacity to support the delivery of social work interventions in the community, and that's significantly reduced during the austerity years. And this might be a factor in people's confidence in accepting a social worker's recommendation for a CPO.
We're going to be working hard over the next few years to ensure all the different parts of the system, and that includes...
The Justice Secretary, Hamza Yousaf, says those who've been to jail for short terms are twice as likely to reoffend as those on community sentences, and it's increased funding.
We always have to see what more we can do to invest in community justice social work in terms of community payback orders and other alternatives to custody. We've introduced more money. We're obviously in the middle of a budget discussion, budget negotiation, and that will become clear in a few days' time. But certainly resources is an important part of the equation.
The government's also convened a group including sheriffs, charities and social workers to ensure there's confidence in all parts of the criminal justice system.
Our Home Affairs correspondent, Riva Alderson.